It's my dark philosophy that there's more to life than we like to admit, and in the dead of night when we lie awake and ponder our lives, we often wonder who is right. Where did we come from? Where do we go? There's so much to the universe that we don't know, so we just explore all the dark corners, seeking out more than what the surface lays on of the dark philosophy, so filled with light it makes you believe that everything will be alright. So join me now on this darkened road, and we can bear witness as history unfolds. Hail and welcome to the 9th episode of Dark Philosophy. Joining us tonight is our wonderful guest, No Green Rocks. He will be joining us here shortly. He's currently indisposed of, so we will let him in when he's ready to go. For now, Hail Jeremy, welcome to the show. How you doing tonight?
Good, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, man. I've been in this room since 9:30 this morning, just working on Frank Lee, melting my ass off, you know. I've had 3 different facial hairstyles today, so that's great. And then, yeah, what you been up to?
Not much. Yard work.
Adulting.
Fixing flat tires. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. I gotcha. So now we'll skip on over to the chat and say, Hail, Vince Womack. Glad to see you, sir. And there's Casey Charlie Chats. Hello, all, and it does begin. No Green Rocks is on his way right now. I'm going to mute my phone. And then, Hail, Small Time Republic. Wait, wrong channel. Shut up, Vince. Yes, hail Small Time Republic and hail Lasso of Truth. And I'm here to remind everyone that it doesn't matter who's streaming right now. This is my normal streaming time slot. Okay? Okay. Good talks. But anyway, our topics tonight are good ones, but since I was so busy with Frank Lee and everything, I am going to have to do the topics announcement things live. The little videos that I usually do, I'm going to have to do a live reading of it after our guest chooses. Hail Jacob Ironside. Glad you could make it. And yeah, this has been a crazy ass week. Feels good to get a Frank Lee under my belt, and
that's good, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm on music and titles. Not so much titles as subtitles, texts, things like that to put over it. Still falls under the titles, but still. It's going to be a fantastic video. I think it's currently sitting at like 13 minutes. So
nice.
And it'll only get longer because I'm cutting in the secondary footage that I shot. So. And Lasso of Truth says, I can't wait to see Frank Lee again. Well, Tuesday. It will be out by Tuesday, I guarantee. And then it will be a while before another one comes out because I forgot how hard these are to do. So I'm going to pace myself this next time and not wear myself out.
That's probably a good idea.
Yep. Especially since I don't really have a deadline for these other than, how impatient Lasso of Truth gets. But I can live with that, And
or me
here's our guest.
Dropping hints all the time.
Right. Here's our guest. No Green Rocks. For those of you who want his longer name, too bad. Hail, sir. How are you doing tonight? If you're talking, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I think you're muted, dude.
Muted, but not. Is your mic on? Yeah. Well, he's figuring out his tech issues. Whoosh! Hail, Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. Happy to see you, Tommy.
Testing.
Yes, we can hear you now. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm good. Sorry about being late, guys. I'm really, really happy to be here, Corey.
Good. I'm happy to have you. We've interacted a couple times outside of here, of course, mostly on Twitter and having fun with meme stuff. And I love what you do with memes, by the way. If you're not familiar with No Green Rocks, he's a memer. He's a legion of memer. And he makes meme lords like me very happy. So
Good. I'm glad. I like bringing a little joy to your life, man. I appreciate it.
hell yeah. And what you been up to lately, man?
Just work. I got a new job. It requires me to get very early and go very late. So I'm burning the candle at both ends. But you know how it is.
Yep.
Put in the effort, and the rewards will be great. So
Indeed. And here's Sean Landrigan says, Hail, Corey, Germ404, No Green Rocks, and chat. Hail, sir, and as the
hail,
running
bud.
joke goes, there's no E in my name. Thank you all for joining us. Hey, I missed one. What? Boosh McFadden. Hail, sir. He posts wonderful food pictures in my Gilded. Join that if you can, because I forgot to grab the link for it again. Damn it. Anyway, so you've watched the show a couple times before, seen what we
Yeah.
do with the viewer choosing the topic for the day. So would you like to choose a topic?
Oh, I'm completely down for whatever. Oh, here we go.
Yes. Your 3 topics for the evening is communication, morality, and sin.
Ooh.
That is not what I wanted you to do, you piece of shit. Thank you. I don't know why it did that.
Well, I think we gotta go with that now, man, because it'd be a sin
Oh,
not
you want to
to.
go with sin? Okay, we can do sin. Here comes another dark topic, ladies and gentlemen. Sin. And like I said, I forgot to record these, so I'm going to do it live. What is sin in the modern age? That was going to be the whole video. So, what do you think sin is like? What is the concept of sin in modern life?
I mean, people make it their own. To be honest with you, just because religion has changed so much, and everybody has different types of religions, but certain things definitely do remain the same. If you're going by the Noahide laws, you can keep pretty well the Ten Commandments. You break those are sins. And I think we all have our own um, area of what we consider sin and not sin. But there are a few that definitely are rock hard with most people.
This is true. And in modern society, a lot of the time you have to take into concept, you have to take in consideration what most people refer to as like uh, sins against the collective, if you will. Um, and what are your thoughts on things that are deemed quote unquote sinful or put in a similar light by, say, governments or societies? Because we've all seen it from religions, and we're used to that. They told us a very long time ago and repeatedly, pretty much every day, what we're doing is a sin in some way, shape, or form, depending on who you listen to, of course. But what do you think about sins being classified in a governmental or societal stance?
Well, I mean, sins in themselves are a religious concept, so the government shouldn't have any part in saying what is a sin, what is not a sin.
This is true, but a lot of people misconstrue that. My background is wrong.
Yeah,
Fuck me.
unless the
Click.
government is
So-
trying to eliminate religion and become the religion.
Well, the
And,
mindset of today's
communism.
society, well, a lot of the mindset in today's society is that the greater good is everybody and the government. So the greater good is often what dictates what sin is. So comparing and contrasting the two definitions of what sin might be, the government would have a very different idea of what would be classified as a sin and thus punishable. And we're not talking laws, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking social behaviors. Okay. There are some laws based around sins like murder, theft, blah, blah, blah. But we're talking social transgressions that require actual punishment despite not having any physical repercussions or any victims in general. Those are what sins are.
You mean like not putting your shopping cart right back where it belongs?
That is a social sin, in my opinion. Those people are douchebags.
Agreed.
I mean, shit, they're total douchebags. But I mean, do you think that it's a good thing that people are starting to look at social wrongs on the same light as religious sin?
I think that's more morality question.
It is a morality question, and it ties into morality. But well, we can talk about morality in conjunction with this, and because the questions with morality are: is it subjective? Is it objective? Are there set rules? What exactly is morality in today's world? That
Isn't
ties directly.
morality a
So
like a social thing?
typically, but these days we see a lot of subjective morality where individuals get to decide what their morality is. And thus, if the individual is deciding what good morality is, and they're thus deciding what a sin is, where do we run out of order and control? And where does it become bad? If there's
Well, a sin
rampant.
would imply that there's punishment of some kind at a different point
Mhm.
in time. So I don't know, your morality, does morality dictate sin and vice
in
versa?
in many cases, it would, because depending on what your moral compass is and what it says to you all the time, your some things may be far more acceptable than others. For instance, pedophilia in some
Bullet.
people's morality is
Sorry.
acceptable. Okay. It's acceptable in some people's moral compass. So can we let that individual compass dictate what society's morals should be?
No.
See,
I don't know. Sorry, those people are
that's
evil.
that's when you get see that's that's definitely a sin, but like you can't dictate morality on the morality of the few. And
But
you
that's
can
what's
all
going on in real life all the time.
well, I know it's going on. It's
So
completely wrong, but like
yeah. So you can do it, but it's not morally correct to do so.
I should
I
say
think that's
so.
a good way to
I
say
agree
that.
with that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with that.
I know that came out as a question, but that's because I was questioning myself saying it at the instant it was coming out. So I couldn't really hide that very well. Is
Don't
that
worry,
what that's
man. I
called?
studied Talmud with a whole bunch of people. It's all good.
Yeah. So Small Time Republic brings up another thing about morality and the concept of sin. He says individual choices are fine until they impact other people.
And that's why that kind of thing needs to be like a broader, you know, I don't know, like a large amount of people that believe in the same kind of things, like a moral compass, I guess, of a society would be a good, like here in America, we totally lost track of that as a society.
Yeah, we have. Hail JT Gunn. Glad to see you. Welcome, welcome. So we're seeing the increase in, let's just call it bloodlust, from a lot of people right now, wanting to basically legalize certain types of murder. They want to legalize us stopping murder, or they want us to stop stopping murder, depending on if it's just one person killing another person. It's not our business. That's how a lot of people are seeing it right now. We've seen rampant thefts left and right, um, sex crimes and sex work and etc. etc. Epstein's of the world, if you will, are on the increase, on a steady. They have been for a while. So, do you think that the world's moral compass has shifted enough that sin is now acceptable? Sin according to old definitions.
I think at the end of the day, everybody knows it. They just are fighting their very best against it. You understand? Like people know that it's there. They just either ignore it or try and make whatever they do acceptable so they don't feel bad about what they are doing.
And I think that's a large part of what's going on right now is people don't want to feel bad for what they're doing, so they're gonna try to make, point the
Yep,
finger or whatever,
I agree.
whatever makes them sleep at night, basically.
What is it? I agree. And do you think it's always been that way?
No, I think society, depending on where you lived and what communities you grew up in, I think society did create its own kind of um, morality. But a lot of truths remained the same no matter where you were.
Well, the truth should remain the same because it's the truth. But we also have a very fluid definition of what truth is these days.
Well, that's because we allow it.
Hmm. And
If you didn't allow the fluidity of it, then you wouldn't be having this problem.
well, there's a phenomenon that exists called moral disengagement. And what happens is we see something that we would normally hate. We wouldn't condone these types of behaviors, like a lot of the violent clips we see on the internet, right? I love watching guys get hit in the face with random shit. Ladies get whacked with pinata sticks. I don't care. It's violent. It's funny as hell. Would I feel bad if I were in real life? Maybe if it was my wife, but I mean, you know, probably.
Yeah, but that's not done out of malice. Those things a lot of the times are done on
It's
accident.
This is true, but we also see a lot of clips of people like legitimately beating other people down and they have millions of
And that is
views
that
and
is completely wrong. That
it
I
is.
mean, unless you're defending yourself or because there's a
Hmm.
point where you do need to. I'm
But
not
those have clicks.
advocating for anybody's violence, but all I'm saying is there is a point where your life is in danger and you have the right and to fight back, even if somebody says you don't. They are not in that situation.
Well, there's there's another phenomenon that happens called pluralistic ignorance. Okay, and it goes along with moral disengagement. Moral disengagement makes pluralistic ignorance easier. And what pluralistic ignorance is, in its essence, is someone else will take care of it. There's a large group of people. It's not my problem. Someone else will deal with it. I'll watch the video and I'll laugh at it and then move on. Um, and that, in my opinion, is degrading the morality of
Of society.
society, and it is also degrading our ability to resist what I will call sinful behavior. Um, like, for instance, pornography, according to religious classification, is a sin. According to a social
No, not viewing
classification,
pornography. The act that people do when they have pornography. Yes.
well, in one way or another, it's a sin somewhere. That's just the point that I'm trying to make. But on a social level, it's usually seen as either acceptable or absolutely disgusting, depending on your flavors. But this is another thing that's changed over the years because the oldest business in the world, the oldest profession is being a
Is
hooker,
prostitution. Yeah.
like slanging that ass out on the street corner. And it's that has never changed. It's just become much more readily available and stuff. So the more people disengage with certain sins, and I'm using that word specifically, sins, uh, the more they'll morally disengage with society as well. And it makes them easier to control. And that's because we've been told all our lives that these kinds of things are bad, not supposed to do that. And what's one thing humans do when they get told not to do something? They fucking do it.
Some,
So,
yes.
well, yeah, it takes a lot of. Why would you do that, Lasso? Goodness gracious. Hmm. How do I read?
Because if you
Why
think
did
about
you?
it, right, you have people like the Amish. They have the Rumspringer, right? I'm
Yes,
sure I'm not pronouncing that right. I do apologize.
I have no idea.
But, they have their time to do whatever they like. And a lot of them actually go back to the way of life because they realize that that's not for them.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure. She accidentally hid Casey Charlie chats, and now I have to figure out how to fix that. So continue talking. I'm sorry.
Well, like, I mean, I grew up in a very different world than most people. I lived in
Right.
the Middle East for a very long time, and I was around many, many, many different religions, and I saw many different things. And I don't know. I think my perspective is just a little bit different just because I grew up around so many different types of religions and so many different types of people that
Right.
when I came to the US, it was a little bit of a culture shock just because a lot of things we would not do back home. It's just, it's very sure it was a bit rough over there, but still it's very different than it is over here. People have loose morals over here, and sometimes it's not such a bad thing just because people are more open to doing different things. I'm not talking about the crazy stuff. I'm talking about being like, okay, this is not my religion, but I did grow up this way, but I'll still I'll go and try and do something this way.
Right.
Back home, it's not really like that. People just grow up a certain way and they say, yeah, you know what, that does exist, but it's not for me. And they just go live their happy lives, which is
Right.
not a bad thing in the least. You know what you want, you know how you want to live your life.
Indeed. So, first of all, I want to apologize to KC Charlie Chats for being hidden by Lasso of Truth. I have no idea how to undo that for this live stream because I am still a boomer in that aspect. So, I do apologize, KC Charlie Chats. I do hope to see you in the future. It was only for 300 seconds. Okay, so it was only 5 minutes. He's in timeout right now. I apologize, KC Charlie Chats.
Casey,
Goodness
if
gracious.
you're watching, it's all good. Come back.
Please do. Please do. So, let's talk about religious sin for a little bit, like the actual traditional concepts of sin. Um,
Are we talking
do you
about
think
the Christian concept or the Jewish concept? Like which you're talking
we
about
can
the
talk about
Abrahamic
both?
concept?
We can talk about both because you're probably much more well versed in the other concepts of sin than I am, than Christian
Yes,
concepts of sin.
probably.
So,
Yes.
and that's why I'm perfectly fine with having this discussion with you because you can fill in gaps in certain areas and
I
stuff.
definitely
But
don't speak for everybody. I just speak to what
no,
I know, guys. I
none of
never
us
try and speak for everybody.
yeah, none of us are doing that. I don't speak for all Christians when I'm talking out here because trust me, I'm not like many of those motherfuckers. So just saying. Uh, but so traditional concepts of sin, if we're looking at, say, the big ones, let's start out like murder, uh, theft,
Adultery.
adultery, and of course taking other gods before, depending on where you're coming from. But most of those are like, and then the coveting one was strange for me because I have like envy and stuff. But we won't talk about the seven deadlies, I guess, simply because I am not touching on Catholic stuff. Sorry, guys.
I didn't know that was
So
only Catholic, so like that's news to
the
me.
seven deadly sins are primarily from the Catholic religion and from
Mm.
off branches thereof.
Like Protestant and
Yeah, I never studied any of that shit in depth. I love Dante's Inferno, but outside of
That
that, like,
yeah, dude.
I mean, Dante's Inferno was fantastic, but when it comes down to it, some of these things are still classified as incredibly wrong. Killing, stealing, um, and for some people, like blaspheming, using the Lord's name in vain is like tantamount to treason. Like
It's
our
funny
mom
though, because
literally hits
when
people over
people
saying things like that.
see that,
Facts.
that thing actually confuses me a little bit, just because
Mhm.
when people say don't use the Lord's name in vain, does that mean the English terms or the Hebrew terms?
I've always thought it was his actual name, personally,
Yeah,
but
but that's what I'm saying. Things are very different when it comes to
mhm,
the old terms. Well,
yeah,
a lot of the Bible was rewritten as well. So
mhm,
you gotta like
many times.
it's a little confusing to me.
Yeah. Well, and I took some time to get a little educated while I was finding my faith. Just putting that out there. But I found that when it comes to taking the Lord's name in vain, blaspheming,
Hmm.
um, it has a lot more to do with like saying the words "God damn," for instance. Okay, is not necessarily blaspheming. Not in my
It's
opinion.
the intention behind the meaning of the word.
Exactly. Exactly. Intention means a lot. Okay. And if you just use the words and they're hollow and they're empty and you know not what you do, then, you know, chances are in most religions, you get forgiven. Unless, of course, there's some severe penance to go along with that. But I have
Well,
no idea in
there's
a
a
lot of
theory without
places.
the with this forgiven stuff. If you
Hmm.
know it's wrong and you do it anyway, then that's the
Yep.
problem.
Yes. And
But if you
there's a,
don't know it's wrong, then you can be forgiven.
yes. See, okay, I'll touch on that real quick and then we'll get back to just what is concept as of sin. But doing it with the afterthought of, oh, he'll just forgive me, makes you a shitty Christian.
Yep.
Okay.
Even in
Yep.
Because that
Judaism, it's the
means you're
same
still,
thing.
yeah, you're still willfully doing it. So, look at yourself. But, how do you think that we've taken adultery as a sin in modern society versus old times?
Uh, Not at all.
Yeah,
We're just like,
socially speaking, you still become a pariah in certain circles, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it, I don't know if cul-de-sacs work that way, but like in certain circles, you still have people. If you cheat on your wife, your neighbors find out. Then there's a big problem with, oh, did you hear this? Did you hear that? And it just circles around. Certain families have issues, but I know a lot of families, and I'm not going to specifically state who, but people will cheat and they're still part of the family, when it comes to family
Yep.
events and everything like that. So,
Yep.
yes, it is a tricky subject, but I do think it comes down to the individual on that point. It's
I
still, in
agree.
my opinion, in my morality, I definitely think it's wrong.
Yes.
But, in in certain cultures, you may have a wife and you may have a mistress, and everything will still be good.
Right. Vince Womack says, "Why am I not surprised when I searched for Seven Deadly Sins, a manga title popped up? That's
More
because it's
popular
probably
search than
it's
the regular ones.
yeah,
right.
it's also from what I hear not a bad book. So I mean, just saying, I'm not a huge manga fan, so don't quote me on that. Definitely don't go buy it on my like
I highly
recommend.
recommend you check them out, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right.
it's very good.
Lasso of Truth says, I think people should mind their own business and not gossip about what other people's are doing.
Yeah,
It's
right.
Yeah,
that
Similar to
is true.
that.
It comes down to the individual.
it does. It does. It does. Probably because Sean Landrigan says probably because Seven Deadly Sins is a dope anime. All right.
Sean knows where it's at.
All right. I'll take his word for it, and I'll watch it if I ever come across
You know,
it.
honestly, I've never heard anything but good things about it. So
Well, that's cool. And
It's
you know,
anime,
like
dude. Just expect some iffy,
crazy
you
shit.
know, some iffy stuff. If you're religious, you might not want to watch it, depending on the type of cinema you watch. For
right,
example, you know, a lot of a lot of people in the Jewish religion shield their kids from certain things, just because it's inappropriate. So just a
right.
heads up, it could be a little inappropriate for those of you who are on the more religious side.
Yeah, well, I mean, the people who watch my channel are probably into that kind of shit. Just saying, because
Well, I
we're
mean,
all a
if they're
bunch of
here, they
twisted
want to hear
fuckers.
all
So
angles. So
this is
Attack on
true.
Titan's a dope anime.
This is true too. But anyway, now that we're not talking about entertainment, so we've covered adultery, murder is clearly wrong. Just saying.
yes, but accidental deaths, for example, let's say somebody's driving in a car and God forbid, you hit somebody and you kill somebody. That's a different story. Murder is about intent.
Comes back to intent again.
I
I
think
think
most things
intent
come
has
back
a
to
yeah.
intent.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was just saying. Yeah, I think most things circle back to that no matter what. It's what you intended to do in that scenario, you know? Did
Yep.
you intend malice or was it accidental or I mean, according to the law, they're still probably going to punish you anyway,
Well,
but
yeah, according to most laws, especially in Colorado, accidental can still come with criminal punishments because ignorance and negligence are not defenses. Speaking as a forensic psychologist, you can't use those as defenses in a, couple like,
Like
yeah.
in the
Anyway,
Jewish religion, they have specific cities that they created, that the Levies, such as this guy right here, would help be a part of, where people who accidentally killed somebody could live a normal life.
right. And
But in the
see,
big cities, no.
and they turned towns like that into prison. I'm just saying.
right.
Well, they weren't prisons
Eventually,
back then, but yeah.
not back then, but hey, how things change. Uh, so obvious. Okay, murder, adultery. Um, let's talk about theft. That seems to be a big one these days. Is theft. Everybody likes to steal shit, whether
Especially
it
in
be
California.
jokes or lives or TVs or whatever. They like to steal shit. So
There's a difference between stealing memes and upgrading them. Just a heads up.
yeah. And by the way, I be a meme pirate. I steal and I share. I don't ever credit yar. Just saying. If you don't put the watermark on there, I ain't telling them who made it.
That's why I always push for the watermark, people.
Yep, do it. Because people like me will come along and just share it out, and they'll be like, "Where'd you get it?" And I'll be like,
Oh, this is good. I gotta share
"I stole it."
it.
But that's different. Memes are meant to be shared. Just saying.
That's true.
Um,
Memes are like
but
jokes.
theft in general, as a concept, taking what someone else has as your own without putting any work into it. Um, do you think that that's a serious sin from what you've learned?
If you're talking about, let's say, the person is completely destitute and they steal a loaf of bread,
Yep.
I like, I have a problem with it because you are stealing from somebody's livelihood, which means you're stealing
Right.
from their children, which means you're stealing from their family. But that kind of stuff I can understand. But for example, when this law was, or back in the days when these laws were, you know, more set in stone, if you were to go steal somebody's sheep, for example, that's a big problem. Here, you don't have people stealing sheep. You have, especially nowadays, you have people stealing from big corporations and saying, "Don't worry, insurance is going to cover it." That's not the point.
Right.
Some of these stores or whatever, they are owned by individuals under the corporation.
Swiper, no swiping. Anyway, sorry.
So I
And you're
think
correct.
it depends. It depends on what it is and the intent and why you're doing it and who you're.
Context and intent. There we are again.
Yeah.
Well, and that brings us around to something that I'm sure most of the people in their 30s at least have done, and that's digital piracy. All right.
I
Sure,
cannot
there's a lot of you
confirm or
goodies out
deny.
there.
Right. Same.
I'm a Napster child. I am a LimeWire child. I will openly admit to it. Fuck
Napster was
y'all. Come
great.
get your $25 and
Yeah, but it was
stolen
like
music,
STDs
you
for your
bitches.
computer.
It was like Russian roulette. It was like, oh, it's my parents' computer, so I don't care. But no, like, but when it comes to things like that, and even the FBI, our most trusted in law enforcement, says piracy is not a victimless crime, right?
JT, you got me with that one.
Chick stole my heart one time.
That's totally fine.
Well, when it comes to things like that aren't directly impacting people on a super huge manner, do you think it's as serious as, say, stealing a TV off a shelf?
See, that's the issue with that is now that I know more about the industry and I know, people there, you have stage help or you have CGI people, you have so many different people who are working on these movies. You are in theory also stealing from them. And that's the
Yep,
problem I have with it. But
absolutely.
if you ask me have I ever done it, again, I cannot confirm or deny, but I did live in a country where it was very popular because you couldn't get that content anywhere else.
Right. And that comes to access issues depending on, where you're living. For sure. And that comes back to context and intent. Like, you wanted to enjoy this media, but you weren't technically allowed to buy it there, right?
Or it wasn't screened there or it wasn't playing there on the
Right.
television. There were so many different factors, but you know, there are things people want to see that they don't have access to. And when it comes to that, you kind of did it yourself.
Right.
The companies kind of put themselves in that situation.
Do you think they're baiting people into stealing?
I don't know about baiting, but I definitely think that they've created a situation.
Entrapment.
Yeah, where
They-
the only way to enjoy that content is through sailing the high seas.
This is true. This is true because, then there's the question of stealing for the purpose of hurting someone else. Okay, I've
That
actually
is.
seen this. Right,
Oh, you've
and
seen somebody
it's
like steal with the
I've
intention of getting somebody hurt?
I have. I've seen someone steal with the intention of getting someone hurt. I've seen people steal with the intention of
That's
getting
fucked
someone
up.
in trouble. And I've actually seen people steal with the intention of thinking that they're toppling corporate empires by stealing said content. But it comes back to intent in that. When you do it to harm another person, it takes a whole different meaning to it. And, what we saw in California with the train robberies,
Oh
that
yeah,
was not
reported
a
on that.
that was not a small deal. But the individuals involved in this were raised in certain areas and under certain parts of their lives and with certain mindsets and communities that this is how they were going to get their stuff. That's how they're going to get money. That's how they're going to get the goods that they want and stuff. So it's okay to do it because everybody in the area is up for it.
See, and that's the
It
thing.
doesn't
You
make
have
it
people
right.
also that live in those communities that will absolutely not do it because they say, like I understand that everybody else is doing it, but I'm not going to do that because I know, certain things and I feel certain things. So, yes, it can be within a community, but again, it goes down to the individual. If everybody what acted as an individual and said, you know what, I'm not going to do this, then things might change. But there are too many people who just don't care.
You are correct. Apathy is a huge problem in today's world. Um, do you think that people's apathy is causing more comfort with what we used to consider sinful behavior?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean,
I'm
there's
sorry.
no conversation besides that. Besides, yes, absolutely. Just because you can see as people start doing more and more things, people try and make it more acceptable, so the people who are doing it won't get in trouble, and it will make it more socially acceptable. So what you need to do is you need to take a hard stance on it. Like, I mean, I don't. I'm not talking about chopping off people's hands who stole. You know,
Yeah, that's a little
I'm
harsh.
Yeah, a
yeah,
little bit. A little bit.
but like there needs to be some sort of repercussion, just so For example, if somebody steals within a community, the community itself needs to take the initiative, find out who did it, and then either report them to the authorities or shame them in their own community, and it would stop whatever it is that is happening.
I mean, that's one of those situations where the punishment needs to be severe enough to where people aren't going to want to do it again, but not so severe to where you're
Becoming
like
a fucking
hurting
tyrant.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, like making people want to rebel because you're for somebody stealing bread, you're chopping off their hand.
Right. Yeah. And that's just total bullshit. Hail Sean Estep. And hail River Miles. Wow. I talk so good. Anyway, I am currently setting up the viewers' votes section, but just to let everyone know, we only have 2 more episodes of Dark Philosophy before we have to go back to before I have to go back to work for good. Hail!
Well,
Release
I'm
the
glad you get to go to
McCracken.
work, but like, will you be doing other content still?
I'll still be doing talking with Toxalots, but Wednesday nights is when youth group and Awana come back to the church that I work at, so they need the
Okay.
extra help on cleaning up afterwards. And it just so happens to be during this time slot. So we've got 2 more episodes of this, and then once that goes on to winter break, as schools do and stuff, we'll bring it back for more episodes. And we'll have more guests on, but we've got 2 more to go before we're done for this season. And we're changing things up tonight. So tonight, instead of just the normal viewers' votes section, I am giving the viewers 3 topics to choose from, 1 dark, 1 light, and 1 gray, and they get to choose the entire topic for next week. Yeah, fuck it. Let's do that one. Why not? No one ever picks those anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, the 3 topics for next week that you get to vote on are fear, intent, and existence. Here we go. So I will give you.
I can't give my input on that one. I don't want to affect the poll.
Oh, you can go ahead and vote if you're in the chat, though, and we'll check back in on that later. And keep in mind, no fear is not the same conversation as fear of death. Okay, we're keeping that in mind. That was like the first episode that we did.
Fear of death is a very specific fear.
Yes,
The
fear.
general fear topic is just fear in general.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
I think
then
I
I'll give
joined
you.
in chat for that one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, and of course, intent being the gray topic. How much that plays into society, how much that affects our everyday lives, on other people's intent affecting our lives, and our own intent fucking with our lives and stuff like that. And then, of course, existence is the fun old discussion of what the hell is existence, and the various theories that go along with that and whatnot. Between
like the meaning of life and all of that.
no, more like, is this a simulation? Things like
God, you remember when the
Uh,
Matrix came out and everybody and their mother were giving sermons on how the Matrix
Yeah.
is this and the Matrix is that?
Mhm. Like, we live in the Matrix, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. It's like, no, people, we don't. So we had a pretty good broad
Well, how do you
discussion
know,
about
man?
sin tonight. How do I
I'd say
know?
it's probably closer to a giant petri dish.
My thoughts on that will be saved for our discussion on existence. But I like Casey Charlie Chats here. He's saying, welcome back, by the way. He says, fear is the mind killer. Yes, it is.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Did you learn your lesson in timeout? I hope so.
No, I never learned my lesson in timeout. I always found something else to distract myself with, so it had absolutely no effect. It's like, yeah, you can't punish me. I'm in my own head too much. But this was a good broad discussion about sin. I enjoyed it. Thank you, No Green Rocks, for joining us tonight.
Yeah,
It's been
thank
a
you for
great
having
time.
me again. I apologize for being late.
No,
Life
not at
got
all.
in the way.
You're good. We get it.
Man.
We get it. Trust me. We've had to cancel full live streams because of stuff like that, so no hard feelings. In that regard, the Matrix wasn't even original. I guess I shouldn't have read that because now I have no idea what he was talking about. I'm sorry, sir. I apologize. So, wow, this is impressive. We've got 10 votes on it, and according to my viewer counter, we've got 9 people watching, so that's not bad.
Thank you
Waiting
all for
those polls
watching.
again.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn that
Yes,
notification
do that
bell on
too.
so you can get Corey's notifications too.
Yeah, I am the worst shill in the world, so thank you for that.
I don't think that's called a shill. I think that's self-promotion.
No, I can't promote myself. I can't shill. I can't do any of that myself. So when other people do it, I'm like, hey, someone who knows what they're doing. Sweet.
Someone nobody said that to me before.
Hey, well, congratulations. There's a first time for everything. So, I think I'm going to go ahead and do something. I'm going to show you guys the new opening title for Frank Lee and the Alien Invasion. Come on, you piece of shit. Just because I'm proud of myself for everything that I've done in the last 24 fucking hours, I'm
You
showing
should always
you.
be proud of your hard work, bro.
Yeah.
There's no music to this, by the way, so suffer. Yeah.
On
Do you do all this by yourself?
What's that?
Do you do all this by yourself, or do you have other people help you out with it?
I had someone help me with the camera work for this episode, but
I'm Frank Lee, and this is an odd adventure.
Nope, that's not right either. You fucking bastards. Where's my sick ass intro, you piece of shit?
It looks like you're
fucking
about to go to
hate
the Bigfoot convention.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of pissed off. Where the fuck did my actual video go? Screw it. We'll just throw up the in progress shit. I know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just dilly-dallying, screwing around, doing whatever I want. So
It's your channel, man.
damn right it is. You're damn right it is. So I will show you guys this.
A sneak peek behind the scenes.
Yes, here's your first look at Frank Lee.
I'm Frank Lee, and this is an odd adventure.
And that's all you get. How do I make that go away? Thank you.
Were you
Anyway,
on?
there you go.
Were you on Comics Channel the other night?
Monday? Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yep.
think
I was there as Frank Lee. I did my exit as Frank Lee. So
nice. I made something for him in the beginning. I didn't know if I saw that, but I was really happy he played that. That took a lot of effort. It was like 2 a.m. and I made that for him.
hell yeah. Hell yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and close it out. That puts existence as the topic for next week. Yay. So, next week, we will be discussing existence with whoever the hell we have on as a guest. So, No Green Rocks, go ahead and pitch whatever you got going on.
All right, so you can see me tonight with Corey. We will be on the midweek hump, so I want to see everybody in chat here. Come by, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. And my Twitter is going to be relatively quiet this week just because I am crazy busy, but you can follow me there and just follow all the Legion stuff that I retweet, some good stuff. And if you want to help me out with my YouTube channel, that would be great. Just go to Superman if he wasn't scared of green rocks. It used to be afraid of green rocks, but I changed it just because it didn't roll off the tongue so well. And I hope you enjoy my content. And thank you for having me again, Corey. I was really a lot of fun. I don't really get to have this kind of philosophical conversations with a lot of people. So I appreciate
Hell
you.
yeah. Hell yeah. Thank you. Then the show we're on after this is on Shagworth's channel.
Yes,
right?
it is on Shagsworth channel. So go there. The Shagsworth, I think, is the channel.
Right now. I'm dropping the link for that right now. Make sure you guys come on over and watch
And
us
we have
in that
a
stream.
packed night. So it's gonna be fun.
Sweet. Hell yeah. So that's what I'm doing tonight. Make sure you catch me tomorrow on not yelling. Thursday Night Throwdown. That's what that's called.
Oh, nice.
Join my Gilded. I will go ahead and get a link for that. Just give me a sec because I'm going to be doing exclusive behind the scenes looks at Frank Lee on my exclusive content section of my Gilded. So there's just so many buttons to press on a computer nowadays. It's kind of ridiculous. All right, so here's the Gilded link for the live chat to join. If you're watching on replay, check the live chat replay for that link. It is right here as well, and right here, and right here, and right here. So make sure you join that. I got exclusive content coming out, etc., etc. I also have a new song dropping on Friday called Mr. Mean on the Corey Music channel. So make sure you're also subscribed to that. I do some hip hop stuff. This one is themed song. So absolutely going to have a lot of fun with it. Check it out. There's the link to that one. Thank you all for joining us and throwing parked cars, yelling at Thursday. That's right, River. That's right. So we will catch you over on Shagsworth channel. The Shags. I can't talk. Gosh, I'm a terrible voice actor. I can't even talk. Gosh, look at me go. English. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
It's a rough
fantastic time.
language.
It is. It is English. This is for the automatically generated text people that watch my live streams. English is tough, but can be taught through thorough thought. There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bounce.
You're gonna have a fun time with that.
Yeah, they are. I will catch you all later. Thank you for joining us, and as always, stay sexy and don't get murdered.
Peace, everybody.
Yeah, good night.